All right, Peter Schweizer is with us, president of Government Accountability Institute. You can find it at g-a-i-org. No dash, excuse me, g-a-i.org as the website. He's the best-selling author of Blood Money, Why the Powerful Turn a Blind Eye While China Kills Americans. Peter Schweizer, welcome to the show. How are you?
Hey, I'm great, Wayne. Good to be with you as always. Thanks for having me.
Am I getting your website right? I don't think those dashes could be right? It's probably just GAI.org. Is that right?
Yeah, you can just type in Government Accountability Institute, GAI.org, and you can look at the research. You can also go to thedrilldown.com, which is my podcast.
All right, so I'm sure that someone put G-A-I because they were trying to let me not get confused and see the G and the A and the I, and they divided them. But the point is, it's just a G like government, A like accountability, I like institute.org. It's that easy. GAI.org. There we go. Got it. I opened my show today. I didn't even know you were my guest, by the way. I never know until I look down at my sheet after the first segment who I've got coming up in the first hour. And then I saw your name, and I loved it because I really spent the first half hour of the show talking about, and I know your book isn't just about drug cartels owning politicians. It's about countries and networks and World Economic Forum, I'm sure, and Bill Gates, I'm sure, and George Soros, I'm sure. But I talked about almost the whole first half hour that I believe drug cartels own the Democrat Party and own all these Democrat politicians. Because who in their right mind would fight day and night for gangbangers and child sex traffickers and human traffickers and drug traffickers and pedophiles? It makes no sense to me that anyone would care that much about illegal foreign invaders. So I believe it's the drug cartels that own all these politicians. But was that a part of your book, or your book deals with all kinds of other people that are bribing and owning the politicians, but not the drug cartels? Tell me where we stand on that.
Well, there absolutely is drug cartel component. I focus primarily in the book on China and the fentanyl trade.
Right,
and the mistake that people make, Wayne, in looking at the fentanyl trade is they think China's involvement is just the precursor chemicals. The fact is they're involved in every link in the chain, and I would say the CCP are really the senior partners and the drug cartels are the junior partners in the fentanyl trade. And, those CCP ties include individuals who have done business with prominent American politicians, the Biden family being one of them. Right. So I think people have to understand what China's doing. It's a weapon. They view it as a form of what they call disintegration warfare, which is designed to fragment American society. They're making money along the way at the same time. And part of that strategy is absolutely to co-opt, the elites in our country to get them to look the other way.
Yeah, I mean, to me, anybody, and it doesn't have to be a Democrat, because there's some rhino Republicans that do it too, but it's primarily extreme radical Democrats who fight all day for the open border and who are ready to get on a plane flight to El Salvador to bring back an MS-13 gangbanger, which to me is just so beyond the pale, Peter. Why would anyone do that unless they've got a cut of the action, a piece of the action? They're getting bribes, they're getting campaign contributions, or they're getting payments wired to an offshore account to keep the border open. So that's why I keep saying I believe these guys are all on the take. And I believe President Trump, Peter, should start demanding that all these Democrats who are for open borders take lie detector tests. Now, he can't make them take it. I get that. And it's not even acceptable in a court of law, right? You can't make a lie detector test cause someone to be guilty in a court of law. So it's not even admissible. But having said that, you would put it in the minds of Americans. Take a lie detector test. Why don't you want to take it? Are you guilty? Are you hiding something? I think you should start saying that day and night to all these Democrats, and then we should run TV ads for the midterm saying, why won't they take the lie detector test? What are they hiding? Are they on the payroll of China or the drug cartels? You just brought up China. Let's keep tying those two together. China and the drug cartels.
Yeah, I mean, look, the bottom line is that an open border has been enormously profitable for the drug cartels. We know that based on the data. In 2019, it's believed that the drug cartels, based on federal government estimates, were making about $500 million a year in human smuggling into the United States. That's a lot of money. By 2022, under Joe Biden, they were making more than $6 billion a year smuggling people across the border.
And that doesn't include drugs.
Yeah, exactly. That's just human smuggling. And the thing is, Wayne, look at the two things that the drug cartels absolutely want and desire from the United States federal government. Number one, they want open borders. They can smuggle more people. It's easier to move their product across the border. And number two is they want the end of the war on drugs in Latin America, where, you know, they're trying to find drug cartel leaders, they're burning poppy fields, all that kind of stuff. Those two planks are now central to the Democratic Party. That has become Bernie Sanders' position, AOC's position, the Democratic Party's position. And both of those line up exactly with the financial needs and the desires of the drug cartels. So that's something that really, I think you're right, has to be explored and investigated. And people have to look at how the Democratic Party moved away from both of those positions. Because remember, Wayne, in 2016, Bernie Sanders was not open borders. Now suddenly he is. He was not no to the war on drugs. Now he is completely against the war on drugs. Those positions have flipped completely for Bernie Sanders and other Democrats.
And Peter, here's why I keep bringing it up. First of all, it's common sense. I mean, if someone's fighting so hard to keep the border open, maybe they're making money on that open border. And it might not be a bribe. It might not be an offshore wire. It might just be, I always believe that all the money coming into the Democrat Party through ActBlue, a huge percentage of it, if not almost all of it, is from foreign sources, and that would be China and the Mexican drug cartel. And I've been proven right. It seems to me we're about to indict them for that very same act, that they had no guardrails in place to stop foreign donations. They were taking tons of foreign donations structured and under $200 each. You don't have to report what you do for a living. I think they came from the Mexican drug cartel in China. But it's also common sense. If you watch any mafia movie from the 1930s and 1940s, you see that in New York, the mafia owned the police and the judges and the politicians. So what would make someone think that today the drug cartel's making far more money than the mafia ever imagined in their wildest dreams, isn't paying off judges, politicians, police chiefs, all of it? I think it's very obvious that the Democrat Party and the liberal judges who try and stop Trump from doing everything that he'd like to make America great again, I think they're all on the payroll of our enemies, whether it be Iran, China, the Mexican drug cartel, North Korea. They're all getting money in our country, and they're bribing people that are so hysterical against Trump.
Yeah, I mean, you look at the foreign money flow that you talked about, you're exactly right, Wayne. I mean, you have the issue of just outright illegal donations. People are sending money, it's not being disclosed, it's being hidden. But even look at the illegal contributions. A lot of people forget, if you're a U.S. citizen, you can vote in elections, and of course you can contribute to political campaigns. If you're given permanent resident status in the United States, you can't vote, but you can donate to political campaigns as much as you want. And we've traced from Chinese individuals who have permanent resident status in the United States, but don't actually even live here. They have permanent resident status in the United States, but they live in China, contributing tens of millions of dollars every election cycle to American political races. And that money is breaking 80-20 Democrat to Republican. So it's a massive problem.
I don't think anyone in any foreign country in the world is rooting for Trump to win. He's not good for them. He's good for us. And the Democrats are good for them. Peter, they're playing music in my ear, which means we got to go to a break, but I don't want to lose you yet. Can you stay for one more segment?
Sure.
Good. Let's talk about your book when we get back, and let's also talk about the No Kings protest, because that's your big contention, is that those are not grassroots. Those are being paid for probably by foreign money too, I would guess. So Peter Schweizer is back, president of the Government Accountability Institute, GAI.org, best-selling author of Blood Money, Why the Powerful Turn a Blind Eye While China Kills Americans. Peter, you talk a lot about these No Kings protests, that they are not only not, but anything but a grassroots movement. Remember when Nancy Pelosi said that the Tea Party movement was Astroturf? Well, this is Astroturf. That's the usual Democrat projection. Whatever they see when they look in the mirror, they blame on us. They're the ones that are Astroturf, correct? This is big billionaire money and foreign money.
Yeah, these are organized protests, and to organize protests this way, you need infrastructure, you need resources, you need communications, and you need a strategy. And the strategy, Wayne, has really been twofold. Number one, to sort of have these protests that develop, but then the desire to have there to be a confrontation. They need, from their perspective, the energy and the imagery of violent conflict. And so they accomplish that a couple of ways. One is they have a lot of entities that are funding these protest organizations. Groups like the Tides Foundation, for example, has given millions to organizations involved in these protests. But then you also need a more violent hardcore. And here you look to groups like the Freedom Road Socialist Organization or the Party for Socialism and Liberation. These are not large groups, but they're very radical groups. And what's particularly troubling about them is that they're the ones that are instigating a lot of the conflict at the local level, whether it was Black Lives Matter in 2020, whether it was some of the Palestinian protests from 2023 moving forward, or now with No Kings and some of the anti-Trump protests in Los Angeles, et cetera. So these are organized, and it is part of a desire to sow social chaos and unrest in the United States. It's going to be a permanent fixture of American society, this kind of external involvement, unless I think the government is prepared to investigate it. And by investigate it, look at those individuals that are funding organizations that are engaged in violent protests. You cannot finance illegal activity that way, and that's where I think the investigation should focus.
You know what I say? Deport or arrest George Soros and the Soros family and all the Soros foundations, because they are, I believe, allegedly, I think, might be the funders of all of this disastrous anarchy that we have and much more that's coming in the future. Do you disagree with me? Soros is the kind of the center of it all?
I think Soros is key. I think the Tides Foundation is there. There's something called Arabella Partners. They don't give money themselves, but they advise a lot of other wealthy foundations where to steer their money. So yeah, there is a large cast of characters here. And again, just like when they used to deal with organized crime, you know, you're not interested just in the guy who beat somebody up on the street and committed a crime. If they're part of a network that is supporting, financing, and encouraging that violence, that's why they created the RICO statutes. And I think they ought to look at using the RICO statutes in this particular area.
I like it. RICO, George Soros. We got only a minute left, so just give me a quick 30 seconds. Mandami is not a domestic guy either. He's being funded by foreign interests, correct? Zohran Mamdani in New York.
Yeah, he's getting foreign money. Hezbollah, a terrorist group in Lebanon, says if this guy wins, he may become the Secretary of Homeland Security. Why would a terrorist organization want that? You've got the Iranians cheering for him. You've got the Chinese cheering for him and encouraging him. The world is watching, and they want a foothold in New York City, and Mamdani would give them a very important foothold.
And he is a huge prohibitive favorite at this point. Unless a miracle happens, he is going to win that election, and New York City will be the first official foreign no-go zone in the United States, I would guess. Peter Schweizer, president of the Government Accountability Institute, GAI.org, author, best-selling author, Blood Money, Why the Powerful Turn a Blind Eye While China Kills Americans. Thank you, Peter. God bless.
Thanks, Wayne.